So I'm going to take you back to A-level results today. I was gathered for a class photograph with students who were achieving straight A's, only I was physically removed a minute later by the deputy, who told me that dance wasn't deemed to be a credible subject. I spent the next 20 years working in diverse settings in dance, for example using dance to raise boys' attainment, or working with young talented choreographers, or in targeted interventions where on a Friday night 250 young people would descend on a field to get drunk, some of them as young as 8. And I was seeing firsthand the power of dance to change attitudes, motivations, self-perceptions, and aspirations of young people. I'm not about to tell you if your local drive-thru is reopened, but I was invited to be artist in residence in one of the most deprived wards in the UK. There was vast child health inequalities and inequalities in educational attainment and opportunities for cultural activity. McDonald's were promising to serve you in 59 seconds, and I wondered what I could do in 59 seconds to empower young people in matters of their own. Challenge 59, we use dance to develop an embodied sense of self, and we use film as a tool to amplify youth voice about real world issues that matter to them in their communities. So they become the creators of digital content as opposed to just the consumers. So we explore psychosocial health. We call that thinking, feeling, relating, and being. But it's more about fostering a creative environment in a school or in a community. I'm biased towards the importance of dance, but there's research at the moment by Dr. Daisy Fancourt, who's looking into creative and cultural activities and social and emotional behavioural outcomes by the age of 7 and 11. And it's showing significant improvement, particularly in low socioeconomic groups. But rather than me talk about the importance of dance, I want to share what some non-specialists thought about their dance experience.
It's giving them the freedom to express themselves and thinking outside of the box as well.
So important for the development of humans, children, to express themselves creatively. And I feel really strongly as well that so many children do not fit into the rigid curriculum, that maybe they're not thriving at reading or they're not thriving at maths. But if all children were given the space to express themselves in some way, I mean, that's the key for health.
Challenge 59 has made the children feel really reflective about the way they move, the way they express themselves. It's made me, as a practitioner, I feel become a better teacher. I've looked upon my PE practice and general practice and, am I doing this? Can I do this a better way? Can we get up and move a lot more? Is it all about sitting down and talk and chalk? No, it's not. So we're getting up, we're moving more, and it's been awesome.
So we designed a reflective wheel that we did with the children after every week. And when there were weeks when the whole space was tight and we couldn't do it, we've not done our reflections. Can we say what we think? 1 week we asked them to sum up their experiences in one word. And one boy said smart. And I said, tell me what you mean by smart. And he said, well, sometimes in school I just never feel smart, but today I felt really smart. And then another boy, I asked him what he meant by possibilities. He said, it's just opened up so many life possibilities to me that I didn't know existed. Some of the things the young people said, this one in particular, the dance lesson made me remember who I am. I can be myself more when I exercise. This was a 5-year-old boy, and that was the first time he'd actually spoken to a teacher in 5 months of school. Another one, I felt really lucky to be here and be as good as I never knew I could be. It turns out young people have a lot to say about issues that matter to them in their communities. So they're involved with storyboarding and conceiving the idea all the way through to post-production and saying how they're going to share and disseminate their films in communities. So they really take on creative industry roles in terms of event planning, rehearsal directing, production assistance, and learning about the industry. I'm going to share a film with you. It's called Exercise Time. It's 59 seconds, so don't blink. And they want you to know that this character is not a lazy couch potato. They are someone who lacks the resource, lacks the peer networks, doesn't feel confident, and doesn't like the activities on offer. The children got to a film premiere at a local cinema, but more importantly, the agency they showed across the whole curriculum. They wrote, in literacy, they wrote press releases. In maths, they budgeted for resources to deliver whole school lessons. They hosted family premiere events. This was a nurse from Public Health England who came to their premiere. They took their films to Youth Parliament. They went to a National Healthy Schools conference. The sense of agency was incredible. We partnered the University of Bath, who in Newham and Tower Hamlets, who reported differences in self-perceptions, resilience, children feeling happier and calmer and more successful at school. And this one, 79% wanted more access to artistic and creative activities, particularly in areas of high density housing. So how might you begin to teach dance? Very, very whistle stop. This is called the Laban kind of language of dance, and this is where I would always begin, with action, space, dynamics, and relationships. Now, in the middle of this, we could have any curriculum topic, any subject, any stimulus. So I'm going to take the states of matter in science, and we're going to look at gas particles. So I hope there's no scientists watching me, I think they would move quite expansively and in multi directions. So therefore, we'll probably be traveling, possibly bouncing. I think they would move dynamically quite fast and quite light. And I'm going to choose meeting and parting because I think there'd be opportunities choreographically to rebound, to bounce off, and to pass through each other safely. I would always start off with action. It's like asking me to speak Latin if I have no Latin vocabulary. So it's about building up a movement vocabulary, or using what they bring to the table, which might be football, but then eliciting more creative responses. So I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. I want you to create one movement that represents fire. Go. Okay, who did this or this gesture? So what becomes important is the resources. These are some pictures, but it might be a piece of music. It might be Samuel Pepys' diary entries. It might be a piece of writing they've been doing in the classroom. But then you might elicit words like billowed and smouldered and streaked and deconstruct, and it looks jagged and rough. And that's where we start to get a more creative response. And this was a teacher, after one lesson, we'd been working on rivers. So I wanted to share this with you.
My children pick up vocabulary from the instant they've picked up the movements. They've been able to explain what a meander is. They're using vocabulary straight away in the first or second lesson, having taught here for the last 3 years. That can be quite a slow journey. They're able to use it, and they're writing. I've seen them using references to meander, explaining verb movement and making those really good choices. Alongside that, it's also really good to see them using that vocabulary in their work and as they talk, but also watching them get along. They're all having a go. They're all working together. They're listening to each other, and they're also watching and observing. So it also has those great skills which you build in a lesson, but not necessarily the national curriculum. So it's been lovely to see the class getting along, working together and using resilience. Also just the enjoyment and watching them have fun.
Okay, 2 more things to think about really quickly. In blue, the kind of content. So in dance, we talk about composition, performance, and appreciation. And in any one lesson, those 3 things will probably be coming into play. And then the teacher approaches. Is it teacher-led and taught, which might be quite daunting to stand and teach a phrase of movement? Is it more facilitated creative tasks? So can you travel from one side of the room to the other without using your feet? Or is it more student-led, a kind of working towards more autonomy, which might be more improvisation? We worked with a school, and they wanted to set their own 59-second challenges that they thought they would support their health and well-being. These were some of them. We turned them into a pack of playing cards. If anyone's interested in having them, I'm more than happy to share. We have lots of film toolkits and kind of 6-week creative dance lessons. But actually, with the landscape shifting just beneath our feet at the moment, we really want to start conversations with schools. What do you value? What's useful? What's not useful? What might effective collaboration with a cultural partner look like? And to that deputy head teacher, not only will I say dance is credible, I think it's essential. Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening.